Hey, how you guys doing? We're going to take a look at the Leatherman Raptor, as well as the Kydex Holster that comes with as well. And there's quite a few things to talk about, and not just the construction, the tools, and things like that. Um, of course, the price of this is it's going to be much more than regular medical shears, or trauma shears, depending on how we call it. There's both pros and cons with using this and medical shears. Now this costs us around, I guess, $70, and so the price may be prohibitive, but the only thing with regular medical shears, they tend to be cheaper, but they don't last as long and a little bit harder to clean, like in between the joint and other things. Now these actually have a 25-year limited warranty, so of course these are much more rugged. First thing I noticed when I took it out of the package is that it's quite a bit heavy. I noticed the heft of it was much more heavier. If of course you look at the thickness, it's probably about 3 or 4 millimeter thickness. So these are definitely going to last quite a long time if you take relatively good care of them. So we're going to talk about a little bit about the outside and some of the tools, and then open them up and then show you the rest of the way. Now, on the outside, you do have this pocket clip, which is useful for putting inside, when it's folded, of course, pants pockets, shirt pockets, trouser pockets, things like that, keeping it in place. Of course, you can use the Kydex holster, which you can use in the open and closed position. I'm going to be showing you that a little bit later. So, and which is removable, by the way, just taking out this screw. Now, turning it around on the other side, it has this little claw hook looking thing right here. Now, this is a combination tool, which is a belt cutter and oxygen wrench. This oblong rectangle hole is for standard oxygen tanks. You can turn it on and off using this wrench right here. And of course the seat belt cutter, which is good for paramedics, EMTs, cutting out victims inside vehicles. And I think this is going to be also very useful for cutting clothing as well. Of course you can use the shears to get it started and use this belt cutter to rip it all the way open much more quicker. What I like about this is you can use it in the open and closed position. It doesn't matter. So when you have the scissors in the open position, as you can see, you can still use the belt cutter. You possibly use the shears to cut through some thick jeans, and then you can finish it off using the belt cutter to rip it all the way through, which I said is probably going to be much more faster. Another thing I noticed is the scissors are kind of offset. If you look right here, they're not perfectly in line. And here's just a pair of regular scissors just to show you, compare. This orange handled scissors here, as you can see, they're in line with each other, and the Raptors are actually set off from one another. Now, it has to be this way to be able to have the folding feature. Unfortunately, I noticed when using them, they feel very awkward because they are offset. So that initially threw me a little bit off. And I'm also kind of wondering if that might also compromise, be able to get a good enough grip to get more torque than compared with inline scissors such as these. But considering what it's really used for clothing, bandages, and things like that, this would probably be more than enough. But don't let the offset of the handles fool you, I guess. I'm going to look at some of the other tools incorporated with these medical shears. At the very end of one of the handles, there's going to be a small spike, which is great for gaining access into vehicles, windshields, and things like that. And that spike, that pointed spike, it makes it much more easier to gain access if you can't, if the door is locked or jammed. Another thing, it has this lanyard hole right here. You can use paracord or other attachment devices, perhaps even a loop around your neck. So it's going to be another way to easily access it that way. Another tool, it's kind of we're going to have to switch it around on the other side, is it does have like a mini ruler on one of the blades. This is about, I believe, 5 inches, even though it says centimeters. So you're going to be able to measure wound and lacerations. So if you write it in a report, you can get the measurements for our medical report. So I think that's kind of a good feature to have for that. Now, also when opening up is the 2 locks on either side for each blade that allows you to fold it and open it and lock it in place. They're actually quite positive, and there's very little play once you have it locked open, and it doesn't move not even a fraction of a millimeter, probably much less than that, maybe a quarter. So it won't affect the scissors when they're locked open in any way. Another feature I like is it uses a standard Torx wrench right here for right here. I'm sorry, right here. Of course, it does use Torx for the both sides of the hinges as well. For the main hinge that separates the scissors, so you can unscrew that, and you could actually take them apart and clean in between where this hinge is. It's going to be much more easier compared to regular Trama shears. So you can do it that way. Now, also, that utilizes Torx 2 more for the hinge for the handle, so you can, when you fold them, as you can see right here. Unfortunately, you're going to have to get a special kind of wrench if you want to take these apart, because this Torx has a dimple in the very center of it, so that means you're not going to be able to use a regular wrench to undo this. Now, I don't think this is made to for a regular user to take apart, only for this, the 2 blades of the scissor itself for cleaning, and that may have to do with warranty, I'm guessing, not to void the warranty or something like that. So another thing I missed right here for an additional tool is it does have a ring cutter right near the hinge of the scissors where they open and close, and which is a nice feature to have, because you notice that cutter is located very close to the hinge itself, or the fulcrum, so you're going to be able to get a lot more torque than you would trying to cut it using the scissors themselves. And it probably, depending on the depth of the ring, you'd have a hard time fitting these blades in between a ring and a finger anyway. So utilizing this cutter is going to be much more easier as well, and you're going to get more torque. And I could even see using this ring cutter for other things like wire or mesh, or who knows what else you can use that for. So very cool. I like these medical shears. I haven't had a chance to use them yet, since I just got them not too long ago. And we're going to take a quick look at the Kydex holster that it goes with, which is right here. So it has several different uses. I mean, just besides holding the Leatherman Raptor, as you can, we're going to flip it over. You can attach this to your regular pants belt, or it's even compatible with a Kydex, or excuse me, with Molly webbing for different vests and medical bags and things like that. And I'm going to be showing you some pictures of that here very shortly. And if you take a look at the screw hole right here, this is a regular Phillips. You can loosen that and set this at an angle. And so you could do it at an angle depending on how you have it mounted. Now, you also notice where these are right here is there is a hole on this side as well. So you could actually take this bolt off right here and move the mounting bracket to the other side, so you could be right and left, right-handed or left-handed for your belt or Kydex holster or whatever. So that's very nice as well. And just to show you, for be able to store these scissors in the open position, just moves in there, very secure. And then simply, this Kydex holster is a little bit stiff, so it's going to be a little harder to take them out. There we go. And then, of course, you can use them in the closed position as well. And we're going to try to get this where the camera is centered so you can see everything. So simply like that, and you would simply put the make sure you put the belt clip, or the clip right here goes to this depression in the Kydex holster, just like so, and it locks this in place as well. All right, just to show you, we have the Leatherman Raptor inside the Kydex holster using the Molly webbing on this Molly webbing pouch. Just to show you, it's actually, once you get it in there, it's very secure and it's simply not going to move at all. Very unique way to mount your medical shears to your bags, vest, and anything that uses Molly webbing. Very nice feature for this.